Good afternoon, Realtors. Good to have you guys back. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Today we're going to be going over contracts, how to fill out a contract, what are the most important dates in a contract. So we will not going to be going thoroughly into a contract, but we will be going over the most important sections of a contract that need to get filled out. One of the things that I recommend you guys highly is that we go into our form simplicity. And when you go into your Flex MLS, you're going to find in our form packages the 7 most important dates in a contract. Let's open that up, because once our offer gets converted into a contract, then we really need to fill this in, because our job is to protect the client's interests, their money, the transaction, and everything. There's 7 dates. There's 7 actual lines there. The first one is the contract date. It's called the effective date. The effective date is the date that the buyer and seller signs. Now, if there's any changes made to the contract, where there's been some changes, it always has to be initialed, and at the same token has to be dated. Okay, you always, under any change, you have to put a date next to it. That's the effective date. The second one is the condo bylaws. Extremely important. If you guys are selling a townhouse, a villa, a single family home that's located in a community where there's a management company or an HOA, there's always an HOA, then we need to get last year's, in this case it's 2019, we need to get the condo bylaws, the rules and regulations, okay? Why? Because the buyers need to see what changes they've done to the community, and they need to know if they're able to live there, if they want to live there in those conditions or not. And that's 3 days. We have to get them to them within 3 days. Typically, I recommend the realtors get these bylaws over to the buyers or buyer prior to going under contract, okay, to making an offer. But if it does go under contract, make sure you get those bylaws and you get them over to them. So you need to put the dates down. You need to put the dates. There's a line on the right there so you can put the dates, because these dates need to be seen. Because if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. What happens? You'll forget about it, and there is where trouble begins. And we want to eliminate and stay out of harm's way. Inspection periods, okay? The inspection date, very important. So typically it's between 5 to 7 to 10 days, depending on the home. So if it's really high-end homes, you might want to do 15 days or something like that. But typically between 5 to 7 days is more than ample time. Don't ever wait till the last moment. And again, put the date on the right-hand side. Number 5, CTC, clear to close. Probably one of the most best words you could hear as a realtors. It's a great jingle. Clear to close means the loan has been approved and it's clear to close. But you could also get a loan commitment. So we need to put the date down when that loan commitment is due by. And nowadays, because of what we're going through, typically it's within 25 days we can get a loan commitment. But right now I'm recommending between 45 days, something like that. Why? Because banks are running, they're running very, very skeleton crews. They're very busy as well too with the refis and so forth. So at least 45 days. But we need to put the date there. The closing date, extremely important date. It's the day of your closing, okay? And to motivate you to make sure that you are on top of all these dates, number 7, your commission, how much money you're going to make, okay? That right there should motivate you to make sure that you, as a realtor, you're doing your job correctly. You're going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dates. These dates are very important and crucial. You'll fill this document out, this page out, once you go under contract, okay? But right now we do need dates to make an offer. So these dates, you can put them on a notepad, you can put them on a scratch piece of paper. What are we going to fill out? Well, we're going to fill out what our offer is going to be once the client tells us what they want to submit an offer to be at, okay? Here we have, I wrote down already, an acceptance date. Acceptance dates, we want 2 to 3 days, something like that, no longer than 3 days. So we're going to put for April 3rd, 2020. Inspection date, we're going to use 4/10. Now these aren't the dates. These are not the dates that you're going to put on here yet, because that's only going to be once the property or the offer goes under a fully executed contract. Only when. Then those dates are important to be put on that document. But right now, we just need to write them somewhere so we can fill them into the as-is contract. So we have the inspection date. Inspection should be within 5, 7, 10 days. It's up to you guys. So here, again, I put April 10th. Loan commitment. Trying to do this within 45 days. We want to have a CTC or we want to have a loan commitment within 45 days on or before, you know. So we put for May 18th. Our closing dates. We're using 60 days now. And once you write it in, you want to put on or before. Because there's a good possibility that the loan could get done prior to the 60 days. So you leave it on or before, especially if it's a vacant home, you know. But you still want to cover yourself. Loan commitment within 45 days, closing dates within 60 days, okay? So now, what do we want to do here? We're going to go in and select a property that we want to use to begin filling out a contract, an as-is contract. So let's do something. We have a property we selected already, and this is going to be the property right here. So now we have to create a package first. We've got to create a package. So let's do something. You're going to go to Form Simplicity, and you're going to go down to where it says Buyer's Package, right there. We want the forms that are required under there. Which are the forms? Well, of course, the as-is contract. Now, if the property is built before 1978, you need the lead-based contract. If there's an HOA, you need an HOA contract. If it's finance, whether it's VA or whether it's FHA, we need an FHA contract. Today, we're going to keep it simple. The addendums that we're going to use is only the FHA addendum and the as-is contract. There is no HOA. There is no lead-based, so we're just going to try to keep it simple. So we got the 2 documents that we need, and now we have to go and create. We have to create a transaction. So you can bounce back and forth through your MLS and your Form Simplicity. So we're back to our MLS. We're going to highlight the address of the property, and you're going to copy it. Then you're going to go back to your Form Simplicity and just paste it. Really simple. The transaction name, we want to save it under the same name. Now here's something extremely important. Do not click Save. Because if you guys click Save at this point, you're going to save all the documents there, and we don't want to do that. We only want to save the selected forms. So we only have 2. We're going to click the selected forms, and we're going to hit Save. The file has been created. So I want to do something here. You see the tabs, sorry. Okay, here we go. We have the as-is contract. We've got the FHA addendum. And see the tab here where the actual address there, and it's actually been created. So I want to do something here. I want to go up, and I want to go to the home page, go up a little bit, and go to the home page. If you have to go out or come in, you know, you're able to, but I want you to know that once you've saved it, it's saved. And where do you go to find this? You're going to come here to the home page. You do not go to the form packages because that's only to create a file. This file's been created already, so where are you going to go? You're going to go here to Active Transactions or Active, either one of the 2. So either tab is going to open it up. As you can see, there it is. So let's open it up real quick. And now we want to start filling out our as-is contract. So we're going to select here because we want all of this to be filled out. And we're going to go to Content. Now, go back to your Form Simplicity, your MLS report. I'll show you in a minute. There we go. So what you're going to do now is you're going to highlight the MLS number. Get the RX, the letters in front of it as well. You're going to copy it. You're going to go back here. And you see right there where it says MLS listing ID, you're going to input it right there. Just going to paste it. And you're going to hit Import MLS. Now, it can come up in 2 different ways. Sometimes you have sellers that will tell a listing agent, okay, I want to rent it, or whichever comes first, whether it's I rent the property or I sell the property. So it's going to give you this option here because in many cases you'll find a rental as well too. So how do you know the difference between one and the other? Well, you look at the sales price. You know, it's going to tell you right there. $355,000 is a purchase. So in this case, it's only one. But if there's two, you need to select the one that's the purchase or the sale. So we're going to click on select. And to be very honest with you, 50% of that as-is contract and the FHA addendum is already filled out. Or careful, 60% is already filled out. Now we just need to finish filling in the blanks. Okay? So everything has been imported over. Now we just need to finish filling this in. So the purchase price, we're going to offer full price, for example. I mean, this is something, it's just an example. You always want to discuss this with your buyers and your buyers or buyer and find out what they offer they want to make. Now remember, when you're making an offer, not only is there down payment, there's also closing costs. So we need to consider the closing costs to make sure that our client, our buyer, has sufficient money to the day of closing. They can go over there with exactly what was discussed. So in this case here, we're going to use an example. The client's got, or the buyer has enough to put down their 3.5% and cover their inspection, also cover their appraisal, but they don't have enough for the closing costs. So we're going to ask the seller, to pay for the buyer's closing costs, and we'll do that in a minute. But again, you need to come and a piece of paper somewhere and write down the sales price. Sales price is $355,000, okay? Now, when you do an FHA loan at 3.5%, it comes out to $12,425. No lender finances $75 or $25 or $50 or $35. So I prefer that you guys round it off. If we're going to write an as-is contract, we're going to write it as thorough as possible, okay? So on a sales price of $355,000, I prefer that you guys use, and again, this is optional, it's totally up to you, you don't have to, use $12,500. Why? Because the lender's going to finance $342,500. So we've got this ready to go, but we need to continue back over here. So we know we're going to offer on the purchase price $355,000. Going to go up a little bit. See the listing price? So we're offering $355,000. Then we're going to come here and see the owner's names. In many cases, you're going to find withheld or you're going to find owner of records. Just leave it like that. You really don't need the actual owner's name. That's the title company that's going to put that down. Why? A lot of law enforcement officers, judges, anybody in the judicial system, their names are withheld. So you want to leave it like that. Owner of records, because it's not going to show up. It's not going to show up under Palm Beach County or Dade County or Broward County's property appraiser. So just put owner of records. If owner of records there, that's all you need to put there. Again, why? Because again, someone could be in law enforcement and their name is going to be withheld. So you just put owner of records. So here, you're going to copy paste owner of records and you're going to bring it down to where it says seller. Right there you see seller and you're going to paste it. Okay? Now, we want to go down. There's seller number 2. If there was a second seller, you'll put them right there. Now, here it's going to show you the listing agent, what brokerage firm they work for. It's Partnership Realty. It's one of our listings. Who the broker is. In this case, it's me, Ismael Alvarez. Michael Whalen is the listing agent. Phenomenal agent. Very professional. It's his listing, but we're going to go down to where you see it says buyer. So let's come up with the buyer's name. We're just going to make someone up. So we could put Tim Allen, for example. So we're going to type in Tim Allen and say there's a significant other. We're going to go here under party number 2 and we're going to use Jane Allen. Now, as I mentioned, 60% or careful more, 70% of your offer is already completely filled out. People, I hear realtors all the time say, listen, I'm going to go fill out a contract. Write a contract is what they'll say. You're not writing a contract, you're filling out a contract. You guys need to get familiar with the as-is contract, every single paragraph, every page on it. We don't have the time to go over it, so I'm just going to go to the most important lines. But you guys at home, you guys should be going over the entire contract. Get familiarized with the contract so when you go to have buyers sign something or sellers, you'll know how to describe the contract to them in full detail. So this here, we've got it down already. We're going to keep going down. And this will be your name here as the buyer's agent. So you're going to save information to the transaction. Like I said, 60 to 70% is already filled out. So we're going to come here, select all the forms that we want to finish filling out at this moment. And you're going to come into the AsIs contract and open it. Now, let's go over the important things. As you can see, oops, went up. There we go. Owner of records, Tim and Jane Allen. We've got the actual legal description. We got the partial ID number, and we also have the address. Now here, this is very important. Anytime you see a line, a number, and for example, this is line number 20. It's got a little star to it. That means it's important. It's very important that this is not left blank and it must be filled out. If it's starred, it's because it's very important to the Real Estate Commission. Okay, it's very important to our Florida realtors that this gets filled out. One of the biggest mistakes that realtors make sometimes is they forget to put the washer and dryer. What is that telling the seller or the listing agent? Well, that your buyer already has their own washer and dryer and they're not going to, they're not going to need that one. Well, you need to put it in there. Like the refrigerator, the range, every dishwasher, everything else is pre-filled already, but you need to put washer and dryer there. If there's a chandelier that we want put in there, we want to put it in there. We don't have to. We're just going to leave washer and dryer. Now look at 23. 23 is extremely important too. It's also starred. That means that anything that the seller doesn't want to leave there, like a chandelier, needs to be excluded. It needs to be placed in there. So we're not going to place anything there because, buyers are accepting the property as is, sellers selling it as is. Number 26 is very important. The sales price is already pre-filled out. But look at 27. 27 is the escrow. So let's say we're putting $2,000 down in escrow. And now look at 29, also important. So you go to 29, you're going to mark this box and you're going to put 3 days there. We're making an offer. We're just making an offer at this point. There's no need to collect an escrow from our clients yet, okay? Because we don't know if this offer is going to get accepted, but once it does get accepted, then we'll make sure that within 3 days or less, I recommend within the next day after acceptance, that you need to contact the listing agent once the offer's been accepted and find out who the closing agent is going to be, who the title company is going to be, or the attorney. And we're going to fill out this entire section right here, 32 to 36. All of that has to be completely filled out with the title agent's thorough information completely there, or attorney's information, whoever's doing the closing. But in this case now, we're going to put TBA, to be announced, because we really don't know who the closing agent's going to be. So just put TBA. So once we find out, we're going to come back in there, we're going to edit, and we're going to fill it completely out. So now, again, on a $355,000 sales price, if they're putting $12,500 down, that means they're financing $342,500. So we're going to come here to where it says 38, the financing amount, and we're going to put $342,500. Now watch what happens to line number 43 once we fill that out. See, it goes to $10,500. If the clients have already given $2,000 down and the total down payment is $12,500, well, they only need to bring $10,500 to the closing table. So as you've seen, it automatically filled it out. Okay. Now we're going to come to the important dates here. 45, again, it's starred. It's the acceptance dates. Acceptance dates are business days. So today's the 31st. And we're going to put down for April 3rd, okay? So we're going to go there to April 3rd. And you've got it in already. So we're going to give the sellers or seller to decide whether they want to accept our offer, counter our offer, and it's only good till April 3rd. Any date after April 3rd, then it's pretty non and void. This offer is non and void, okay? You'll have to change the date on it. Now, the closing date, number 52, as you can see, also starred. Very important date. So we said the closing date will be June 3rd. So we're going to come there. We're going to go to June 3rd. Make sure that these dates do not land on a Saturday or a Sunday. Why? Because lenders aren't open, title companies are not open, and they can't do a closing on a Saturday or Sunday. Or no one's actually open, so we want to make sure you either use the Friday before or the Monday after. So you could always select. We're going to come down. Again, we're going to kind of go over this because we don't have the time. But you guys truly need to go over this entire as-is contract. Get to know it. It's always going to be the same information in the same area, same place. So you can actually detail an as-is contract to your clients and explain to them what they're signing, instead of just telling them, oh, go ahead, sign here. That's the wrong thing to say. So we're going to go over the most important dates at the moment. So we're going to go down. And this was very important, as you can see here, 77, 78. And you always, whether you represent a seller or you represent a buyer, go and click where it says may not assign. Well, what does that mean? That means that the buyer has the right on the other two boxes to reassign this property. We don't want that. Whoever the buyer is, they need to close on the property. We don't want them flipping this property or doing anything like that of reassigning the contract. So make sure that box is filled in. Here's very important, 82. If it's cash, you would click box number 82, but in this case it's not. It's a finance contract. So as you can look through 86 all the way to 91, completely starred. That means they're important to fill out. So I recommend that all of it gets filled out. Don't just click box number 86 and forget about it. So in this case, the loan is an FHA. If it's a VA, we would mark VA. If it was conventional, we would highlight mark conventional. But in this case here, it's an FHA loan. We need to let the sellers know it's an FHA loan. There is a small cost on an FHA loan to the sellers. It's very small, very minimal, but we need to let them know this. So now we're going to go to 87. This is loan commitment date. Very important. So we're saying 45 days. And our loan commitment here, we have it as May 18th. So we want to go to May 18th. It's 45 days. So we really, truly need to have an answer, not by 45 days. You guys as realtors, you really need to have an answer by the 40th day, 37th, or any day earlier. If it's a 30-day loan commitment, or usually it's 25 days. So if you write a 25-day loan commitment, loan approval, then you really should not wait till the last moment. You really need to find something. You need to have a CTC or a loan, which is a CTC is a clear to close, or a loan commitment, which is going to have conditions still open on it, way before the 20th day, or in this case, the 40th day. I'd say by the 38th, 35th day, we've got more than ample time. But you can't wait till the last moment, because in many cases, it's a dominoes effect. A seller will go and put a down payment or a deposit on another property, and those sellers will put a deposit on another property, and it's going to cause a chaotic mess. And that we don't want to deal with. We want to make sure this goes smoothly. We want to give our clients, and it doesn't matter if it's just our clients, the listing agent, the seller, the most pleasant transaction as possible. And the only way that you can make this transaction to be as pleasant as possible is that you have to be on top of all these dates. And don't wait till the last moment, because it's not correct. It's not right to do that. I understand this is a finance contract and you've got 45 days, but don't wait till the 11th hour to do something like that. Have a decision made, 5, 6, 7, 8 days prior to. Okay? So then we want to go to 88, and this is a fixed loan. Go ahead and click fix. You're going to come to 89, and don't put an interest rate there. It's either you can put in either current or you can put market rate. Either one of the two. That's between the finance institution, the lender, the bank, and the clients. Just put current. Okay? Then you want to go to 90. Every loan is 30 years, so put 30 in there. The more thorough you fill this out, the more the listing agent and the seller is going to feel comfortable with you that you know what you're doing. If you leave this completely open, the first thing they're going to think is, geez, this realtor really has very little to no experience. again, fill out a thorough contract. It's going to make a listing agent, and it's going to make a seller, or if it's a contractor, anyone, they're going to make them feel very comfortable. So now, 91. We need a pre-approval. Every time we submit an offer in, finance offer, we need a pre-approval. We want to make sure that that lender has already seen all the financials and bank statements and every documents, pay stubs, and everything from the client. So what I recommend, these are only recommendations, that you put in there is the word done, D-O-N-E. Put done in there. It's already completed. You're going to make the listing agent feel very comfortable on accepting your offer. Can you imagine if you put a 5 in there? What's that saying is, after the seller accepts our contract, my client, the buyer, has 5 days to see if they can get pre-approved or not. Not really. It's done. We want to make sure and let them know that our client's been completely pre-approved. So now we're going to go down. And again, you guys need to get very familiarized with everything that we're skipping through it. It's just that we don't have the time, but you guys need to get familiar with it. So go to 145, line 145. And here, I know it says 15 days to left blank, but don't leave it blank. Put 10, 15 days, it's up to you. And we're just going to jump up here to 144, that I am totally blind without glasses and just overlooked it. So 144, if many companies have what's called a transaction fee, a processing fee, this is a good place to put it. This is cost to be paid by the buyer. So you want to put it in there. $295, $395, $495, whatever the case may be. So now we want to go down. And right here, Palm Beach County, St. Lucie County, seller usually always picks title. Okay, what title company, what closing agent they want to use. It's just a practice. It's not a law or anything like that. It's totally negotiable. Totally negotiable. But in Dade and Broward, the buyer picks it. So like this property is here in Palm Beach County, so we're going to mark down that the seller designates the closing agent. Okay. Now again, if it was in Broward or Dade, we would use the buyer. The buyer selects. But here we're in Palm Beach County. So here again, Broward or Dade, we're going to select that box. Now 173, as you can see, every line that we're going over is starred. That means it's important. So line 73, all homes are sold as is, but the buyers have the right to do an inspection. So you want to click in there, NA, and here we represent the buyer. So at line 185, these are assessments. Assessments could be at any HOA, any management company, to where they're making some changes that have already been done, and there's some outstanding assessments. An assessment could be like roof repairs, fence repairs, painting of the condos, painting of the townhouses, of the villas. It could be a single family home in an HOA. It wouldn't matter. So we want the seller to be responsible for any assessments up to the date of closing. After the date of closing, the buyers are responsible. So you're going to mark 185. And we're going to go down. Again, all of this, you guys need to get familiarized with everything that we're just skipping through it. Inspection, totally up to you guys. $355,000, I say within 5 to 7, no more than 10 days. Okay, the inspection should be done. And these dates right here we put for the inspection, we put April 10th. So we're going to put there, 7 days, 5 days, 10 days, totally up to you. And again, don't wait till the 11th hour. Don't wait till the last moment to do the inspection. Get the inspection done as quickly as possible in the beginning. Okay? So again, we're going to skip through a lot more that you guys are going to, I know you guys at home today or this evening are going to sit down and go through all this and read all this. I should do a longer class and we'll sit there and go over each paragraph per paragraph. We'll be here for a couple hours. Okay. Here, we need to mark any addendums that are attached, and we have an FHA addendum here. Okay. So mark FHA. If there was a lead base, you want to mark the lead base. Any addendums at all, condo riders, homeowner association, anything like that, you need to let them know that those addendums, those riders, are all part of this contract. So again, down payment is $12,500. That's actually less than that, but we rounded off to $12,500. But there are closing costs. Our buyers, they don't have enough to pay for their own closing costs. So what are we going to put down? We're going to put down that the seller to pay for, and you can use a rule of thumb about 3%, 4%. Try to find out with the lender what percentage is the closing cost, and then you'll want to write it into the contract. That should be done with the good faith estimate that the lender is going to give your client, and you should have some contact with the client, with the lender as well too. And these are questions that you want to ask. So in this case here, we're going to use 3%, and I think we rounded it off at $355,000. And we're going to put here, seller agrees to pay. And what does it come out to? So we're asking for the seller to pay $12,500 of buyer's closing costs. And put the dollars at 0.00 on the back, because we don't want to make any mistake there. Okay, so we're asking the seller agrees to pay for $12,500 of buyer's closing costs. So that means that the buyer is only going to have to come up with their down payment plus their appraisal and their inspection. Everything else is going to get covered by the seller. So let's just go up real quickly and just make sure we didn't overlook anything. And you want to click Save, because you did all this work. You want to make sure that you saved it. So, going to go through it briefly, real quick, one more time. Make sure we didn't overlook anything. Okay, so we've got the sales price, the down payment, TBA, date of acceptance, closing date. Yep. We got the loan commitment due dates. And this contract is contingent upon buyer obtaining a loan commitment. We've got the title, transaction fee, NA, special assessments, inspection period, looks like we're ready to go. Now we're going to go ahead and show you guys how we can send this to get your client to e-sign it. It takes minutes. When you guys are familiar with this at home, do this at home. This is a test. This is a test trial that we're doing here. You guys can do as many test trials as you want. Create packages, fill them out, change the name, change the buyers. Do as many test packages as you want. And email them to yourself, have them e-signed. The more familiar you are with this, the better you're going to be at becoming a successful realtor. Another thing, truly, it's going to take you guys about no more than 10 minutes to fill out an AsIs contract once you know how to do this. So it's times of the essence here. So in this case here, we want, what forms do we want filled out? We're going to select these forms, and we're going to go to select a command. And you're going to go to e-sign, and we're going to create a session right here. This is pretty normal. It's not your computer. It's for simplicity. It always just drags a little bit there. That's not your internet speed or anything like that. This is very normal. So you want to click on the top one where it's the blue one where it says click here. Okay, so now you're going to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tabs. Very quick, very easy to do once you know and you've practiced this at home. You have to practice this at home many times. The more you practice it, the better you're going to get, okay? So here, it's required, you're going to put some type of message there, you know. We're just going to put hello there, you know, but you're going to put some personalized message. And here in the message as well, you know, you're going to write something personal in there, like, you know, here's the offer. Anything that you want to put in there personalized. So now we're going to go here and to next, because we're going to go to the next tab. Okay, on this one here, you only have to add your client in one time. Once he or she is added in, you'll never have to add him again. So in this case, you're going to come into Add a Signer, and we're going to put Tim, Allen. Now, there is no Tim Allen, not in this case. So we're going to use Guillermo's email address. What if they only have one email? That's fine. You can use, you know, for the two individuals, the same email. So hit save, and you've got buyer number 1. So now we're going to add buyer number 2. And again, in this case here, Jane Allen, and they have the same email. Very hard to find nowadays that people don't have emails, but this is just for class purposes. So we're going to click save. Now, let me show you guys one more thing. What if on the contract, Jane was first and Tim was second? Well, I'm going to show you how to change it. You come right there and click and put Jane number 1. And then you're going to go to Tim and change him to number 2. Switches them around. But again, Tim was first, so let's turn this around and put him first. And Jane second. Perfect. Now we need to select them. That's who we want to sign, both of them. And we're going to go to our next. Now, here again, in what order did you write them in the contract? Again, we're going to go to buyer number 1, and it's Tim first. And buyer number 2, we've got Jane. And buyer's agent, we're going to select him. And nope, we didn't select him, so just click out. Nope, just click out, that's fine. We could do next. And hit yes. We could always add the buyers because the agent's in there as well too. So what forms do we want filled out? We want these forms. And we're going to click next. Look how quickly we're going through this. So now the system, Form Simplicity's library, already recognizes where every single initial goes. As you can see right here, Tim Allen and Jane. And if we go down further, it already knows where these documents need to get initialed, they need to get signed, they need to get dated. Everything's already pre-filled. So you can go through it. See how everything's selected? Well, we'll go up. We won't go through it, the whole thing, because we're running out of time. But there we go. So now we'll hit next. See the names right there? And that's your FHA addendum. So now you're going to click next. So this is giving you guys one more review before you send it. One more review. You can go through it and make sure it's all filled out properly. You didn't miss anything. And if you did, see where it says right before next, it says previous. You can always go back. And one of the things about Form Simplicity as well too, it's got a text box that could actually allow you to go in there and fill something in if you forgot it as well too. But here we're going to get next because everything looks fine. So it's going to give you one more shot at making any changes or adding something in. But right now we're ready to send this. See where it says finish? We're going to click on finish. There we go. And it's going to tell you that these invites are pending. You'll get notifications once the buyers or sellers have actually opened a document, and you'll also get notifications through your email when it's been actually signed. So getting a signature is really simple right now. It could be through something as quickly as a cell phone, a smartphone. It could be from a laptop, notepad, desktop, anything like that. In this case here, we're going to get, we'll get the document signed, and we're going to go into Guillermo's email, and we're actually going to sign this as if we were the buyers. Again, these are just test packages that we're doing. This is something, again, you want to send to yourself or to a family member and just play with it as many times as you want and as you can until you get really familiarized on the entire system and how to do it. So see here where it says they're invited. This is the actual buyer that's invited. So they're going to come here and go down to where it says review and sign. Now it's giving you an option to select different signatures right there. So the different styles and fonts of signatures. Let's say that that's one that Jim feels comfortable with. He'll go down and he'll hit here agree and he'll click on start. And hit yes, got it. This is the different types of the color signatures. It's telling you by color code. But you're going to come up here and hit click start. The system automatically will take you to it. So the client has to click in the box or touch in the box with their cell phone. Click next. It'll take them to the box. Click next. Clients can actually sign this from the convenience of at their job, at their home, anywhere they're at from their smartphone. It's so easy and fast to actually submit an offer on a property. It's amazing. We're going to be doing a form simplicity class in the next day or so, and we're going to show you guys how to upload everything into a file, and it's also always stays archived there. As long as you're a realtor, it's always going to be there for you. All your database, your client's database, everything's going to be there through form simplicity. So click there, next, the signature. Next, it's going to take you right to every single initial, every single signature that is required. System knows exactly where it needs to get signed. And once your client signs it, it stays in their email saved. It'll stay in their email. Click next. And that's it. Click yes. We're finished. And now to find it, you can close that tab right there. So remember, we still need Jane to sign it. So we're going to go into the email again. We'll close this, and we're going to find Jane. There she is. Let's find Jane. Okay, go down a little bit and review and sign. We're going to do it's the same process all over again. We're going to select that font or this one here. That's a good one. Agree. Start. This is Jane actually signing. Got it? And we're going to hit up there where it says start. And it's the same process. It takes literally minutes only for an offer to get filled out and signed and executed and reviewed by a client. And you're going to submit it from right there. As soon as you get this back, which we'll get this back in a minute, we're going to submit it to a listing agent. It is so quick and simple. That's why it's called form simplicity. Very simple to use by the clients, by the realtors, by everybody involved. Very, very easy e-signing software. And we're almost done with it. Now we just need the FHA addendum as well. As you can see, everywhere on the left, we've got Tim's signature already on it. So it's almost thoroughly filled out and signed. Hit yes. And now, you as the realtor, you'll get notified that this has been signed by both parties, and you're going to go into your Form Simplicity, and it's in there. So let's go back into Form Simplicity. We're going to go to Active. We're going to come here to your file. Now, how do you know which one's signed? Well, the dates are going to be right here and the time. So right here is the FHA addendum, and right here is the actual contract. So let's select both of these right here. No, I'm just going to go ahead. Okay. So if you go down, you're going to be able to see that everything's been initialed. See, it's initialed. So we're not going to go through it. This is something, again, it's a test trial. It's something that you can do at home. But let's close this out. And we're just going to go ahead and submit this right now to the listing agent. So close this out. So you're going to select right here and go up there to select the command and go to email. Now go right back into your MLS report and go down. And right here is the listing agent. There's their email. We can copy paste. And you're going to go right back to your Form Simplicity, paste it. Subject here, here's an offer, anything that you want to personalize and say to Michael. Here we're selecting the property address. So you put down FHA offer, it's a cash offer. Now here's something that I recommend before you put hello, Michael, or good morning, good afternoon. Just grab this right here and just delete this little section right here. So just grab it right here, put your mouse right here, and highlight it, and just click delete. Now you can actually send this in. You can personalize this, and you can send it. Of course, we're not going to send it to Michael. He's going to get totally excited over there. He just got a full price offer with some seller concession, but we're not going to do that. As you can see, if you go down a little bit, right here on the bottom right-hand side, all you have to do is click email, but we're not going to do that. Because if we do, Michael, again, is going to be calling totally excited. And he doesn't know this is class purposes only. So that's all you have to do. This is something, guys, that you have to practice at home. The more you practice, the better you get. As a professional, you definitely want to get familiarized and just practice this at home. It's a pleasure for having you guys here. Everybody stay safe and nice seeing you, and we'll see you again very soon. Have a great afternoon.